Hey everybody, today I wanted to talk about the infamous Mobile Fidelity pressing of the Beatles' Magical Mystery Tour. Now I bet there are some of you who just at the sight of this very pressing are sighing to yourselves right now. And for those of you who don't know, I will try to do my best to give you the backstory as to why this is a pressing of Magical Mystery Tour to avoid, and if you do find it out in the wild, to not overpay for it, because it is an oddity, by the way, and it is definitely worth owning in your collection. But there are lots of problems with it, and I will get into that in this video. But now, before I start, I gotta say that my good friend Chris mailed this to me, and I'm very grateful for him for doing so. He's also a big vinyl collector and a big Beatles collector, and we chat back and forth on Instagram a lot. And he was asking me if I had this pressing, and I used to have this about 4 or 5 years ago, but I sold it for a number of reasons that you'll probably learn in this video. But he had this and he didn't want it anymore, so he sent it to me, and I'm very grateful for him for doing that. So thank you very much. And the other thing I want to mention before I get into this video is that I'm not in any way trying to bash Mobile Fidelity. I actually like a lot of their pressings. In fact, I like some of their Beatle pressings. If you've seen some of my previous videos, you'll know that I really like their Abbey Road pressing. I think that's a really, really good one. I like their Revolver pressing. I like a couple of their Sgt. Pepper pressings as well. So I'm not here to bash Mobile Fidelity. And by the way, I have a bunch of other artists' albums on Mobile Fidelity as well, and including some jazz artists and stuff like that. So I generally actually like Mobile Fidelity, and I think what they do is almost always top notch, except when it comes to this. So let's get into this this particular pressing of Magical Mystery Tour. So the story goes a little bit like this. So Mobile Fidelity wanted to put out a box set of all of the Beatles albums, and they were going to put out, of course, they're just the UK versions of the Beatles albums. But when it comes, of course, to Magical Mystery Tour, there was not an album UK version of Magical Mystery Tour because it was released as an EP, a double EP in 1967. But of course, in America, Capitol Records didn't want to put out an EP, so they put together this album, Magical Mystery Tour, which has the songs from the EP on the first side, and then all of the singles, the A-sides and B-sides released in 1967 on the B-side of the album. But we'll get into that more in a little bit. So when Mobile Fidelity then wanted to put out, like I said, all of the UK albums, they wanted to include just the US version of Magical Mystery Tour so they could have the full album in the box set. So they got the okay from EMI, Abbey Road, or whoever was in charge of the Beatles at that time, the Beatles recordings, the master tapes, and they were able to get the original stereo master tapes for the Beatles albums, at least allegedly they were, and make basically what they went ahead and did is that they made high quality pressings of the Beatles albums. And of course, when it comes to Mobile Fidelity, they did top-notch work, usually, where they would press the albums on really, really high-quality vinyl. They would include really nice inner sleeves, really thick cardboard for the actual album covers, and generally just do a very, very nice job. Now, the other thing they also would do is they would remaster the recordings, or actually, not remaster, but when they cut the actual albums to vinyl, they would add EQ. A lot of times, a lot of people called it smiley face EQ, where they would add a lot of high end and a lot of low end, and kind of take away, or not take away, but leave the mids as they were, so you get this smiley face EQ. Some people love it, some people hate it. I am kind of in the middle there, where sometimes I hate it and sometimes I love it. As some seagulls are talking, and I don't know if they love it or hate it, but we'll never know. Anyway, it's like tomorrow never knows in here. So they would add, like I said, their own EQ to the recordings. But now, when it came to Magical Mystery Tour, instead of getting the original UK master tapes, stereo master tapes, they ended up acquiring, I don't know if it was by choice or that's what they were given, but somehow they got just the Capitol Records stereo master tapes of Magic Mystery Tour. Now there's a big problem when it comes to that, and the big problem is that the original stereo version of US stereo version of Magic Mystery Tour has the songs on side 1 are all in true stereo. The songs on side 2, there are 5 songs on side 2. The first 2 songs, Hello Goodbye and Strawberry Fields, are in true stereo as well. The big problem is that the last 3 songs, Penny Lane, Baby You're a Rich Man, and All You Need Is Love, were in fake stereo. Yes, fake stereo. Now, for those of you who don't know what fake stereo is, I'll give you a very, very quick description of fake stereo. They would take a mono recording and they would take all the highs and put the highs into like one channel, all the lows put them into another channel, thus creating fake stereo. But it's still just a mono recording, but made to sound terrible. And when it comes to the Beatles, I have yet to hear a fake stereo mix of a Beatles song that I like even remotely. So it's bad news. But that's what Capitol Records in the US decided to do with the stereo version of Magic Mystery Tour. Now there's a reason for this. In 1967, by this point, when they were going to release this album, those 3 songs didn't have a stereo mix done for them yet. So Penny Lane just had a mono mix, Baby Rich Man, same thing, All You Need Is Love, also the same thing. So they only had the mono mix to work with, which is why they were forced, some would say, to make these fake stereo mixes. And they've done this, of course, in the past on some of their other US albums. Like they did that with She Loves You, and they did that with, I believe, I'll Get You as well. Some of the other Beatles songs that only had mono mixes, they turned them into fake stereo. Now, the thing that's kind of where this gets very weird is, of course, that when Mobile Fidelity was going to make their box set and make their version of Magic Mystery Tour, instead of making sure that they got the original master tapes from EMI, like they did with the other albums, they somehow got, like I said, these Capitol master tapes of the album, which is already problematic anyway because they're not the original master tapes. Those are a dub that were sent from the UK to the US to make these albums. And it was probably a dub of a dub, to be perfectly honest with you. So who knows that generation of that master, what that generation of the master was for the US mixes. So that's already a problem right there. Even if that was just in true stereo. It's a dub of a dub. You want to get, they're claiming they're using the original master tapes. It says so even inside this cover. It says, let's see, source, the original stereo master tape. Now, I suppose that's not really a lie because I guess, in their opinion, the original stereo master tape for the US album, they probably did use that. So, anyway, but it's a little bit misleading, right? So, they ended up using that tape instead of the original EMI mixes. And by the way, by this point, stereo mixes did exist of these songs that were in fake stereo because, as a lot of you know, these excellent German pressings of Magic Mystery Tour have true stereo from start to finish of all the songs, including Penny Lane, Baby You're a Rich Man, and All You Need Is Love. True stereo mixes, and they sound fantastic. In fact, as I'm sure a lot of you know, I love these German pressings of Magic Mystery Tour. These are 2 examples, by the way. These are from my own personal collection. This one's on the Apple label. This one's on that label that I can never pronounce and that everyone gets on me in the comments for not being able to pronounce it, so I'm not even going to say it. But you know what I'm talking about. You can read it right there. Anyway, true stereo. So true stereo mixes did exist, but either they were being lazy or they just didn't care or they genuinely made a mistake. They ended up creating this album, making this pressing with the fake stereo mixes, which, of course, makes this not a great pressing to own. Because if you, honestly, in my opinion, if you want to have this version of Magic Mystery Tour with the fake stereo mixes of these songs. Actually, the original US stereo pressing on the Capitol Rainbow label sounds even better, in my opinion, than the Mobile Fidelity pressing. And that's saying a lot because, as I'm sure a lot of you know, I don't really like the Capitol Rainbow label pressings all that much. I think they're definitely worth owning because they're a piece of Beatles history, and a lot of people in America, all the people in America, this is how they heard the Beatles. So, and this is how like my dad heard the Beatles and how I heard a lot of the first Beatles records. So I do like to own them, and if you had this copy, it wouldn't be a terrible thing to have in your collection at all. It sounds pretty good. But really, you can find one of these for a lot less money than one of these, especially back when this was originally released, this Mobile Fidelity pressing. So when this came out, of course, people were very, very disappointed. And the other thing about this is that nowadays, there are a lot of people who sell this online, either knowingly or unknowingly, and they sell it for large amounts of money. And I think a lot of people might be getting scammed. And that's why the other reason I want to make this video is that if you see this pressing online for sale and you are curious about it, I would not pay any more than like $20 for this record. In fact, I would feel a lot better paying like $10. It doesn't sound all that great. In my opinion, it's lacking, even the true stereo mixes, by the way, are lacking a lot of low end, and there is definitely a lot of high end going on with this. And on some songs like Fool on the Hill, it can get a little shrill when you hear those flutes. And generally, there are just other pressings that are so much better than this. So it's really not worth the money or the time. If you are a completist, of course, then this is definitely worth picking up and having in your collection, just as, just to say you have it. But generally, I would avoid this particular pressing of Magic Mystery Tour. It's just not worth it. So anyway, this is just my, word of warning about this particular pressing. I will show you now what you get with this. There's the front cover. It's a gatefold, and it looks like that. You don't get the original booklet that came with, of course, the original US version of this, or the EP. This is the back. And they include an insert, which I will show you. And it's just, and oddly enough, they do have Magic Mystery Tour being displayed there, which is kind of funny. And the insert opens up like that, shows you all the albums available at that time. There's the back. That guy's holding Abbey Road. And then the record looks like this. Side 1, side 2 look the same. Now, the cool thing about this record, about this vinyl, is that it is translucent. So if you hold it up to the light, you can see through it. Now, I'm not going to be able to do that in this video, but if you hold it to the light, trust me, you can see through it, and that's kind of cool. So that's one of the cool things. See, I'm saying something nice about this pressing. You can see through the record. But anyway, I just wanted to bring this one to your attention. I have had a lot of people ask me about this, ask me what I thought about it, and I'll put that all away later. But now you know. Magic Mystery Tour, Mobile Fidelity, not really worth it unless you can get it for a very, very good price. So anyway, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments below if you own this particular pressing. Maybe you like this particular pressing. That's cool. If you do, let me know in the comments why you like it. Also, let me know if you were around when this originally came out and if you picked it up, and if you, whatever your story was, because I love reading people's stories about when they picked up these albums on the actual release day, and if you were very disappointed, or maybe you were actually pleasantly surprised. Would love to know in the comments below. So that's it for now, and hey, more videos coming soon, and that's it. So bye for now, and take care.